Waiting. Hi, everyone. This is Bob Sorrentino from Italian Roots and Genealogy. And I have a great guest today for a special presentation about translating documents with AI. And she is also the creator of a new website, familytreetech.com. So welcome, Natalie. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. You and I had talked before. We did a recording about a year ago.
That's right. Your family's from Piano di Sorrento, right?
Yes. And around the Naples area. So, and then I like to tell people they all immigrated from Piano di Sorrento, and they came to Brooklyn, and they just sat down and never moved. So my genealogy is very easy, because I'm in the New York area. They never moved out of the New York area, so it's very simple. So. Definitely.
Yeah, and that was similar with my family too. Although my father's side, most of them stayed in Italy. So what's going to be really neat today for everybody listening live or catch us on the replay, I sent Natalie 4 samplers of documents that I had. Some are printed. One was a record from. I believe it was 1860 or something like that. So she's going to go through with that and show us how it works and give us some tips. And just keep in mind that AI isn't perfect yet, but as we go through the years, I think it will. So you got a presentation for us, Natalie, so take it away.
I do. First of all, hello, everybody. I'm Natalie, and I'm from Family Tree Tech. I've been a genealogist for about 12 years now, and I've been in the tech industry as a manager for about 25. So when I came into genealogy after a background in tech, I was really excited because there are so many types of programs and codes and websites and all of this stuff that can help us in our genealogy. And I think I went to Roots Tech for the first time in 2016, I think. And I was prepared for everybody to know all about these really cool technology offerings and realized that there's a wide range of knowledge in genealogy in regards to technology. We have people on one end of the spectrum who are just about comfortable being on Facebook and talking in groups. And then we have the other end of the spectrum where we've got people splicing up their DNA, and they've got all kinds of charts and tables and special programs. And what I wanted to do is to bring together a body of information for people who may not be as technical, but who it would be helpful for them to know specific things at specific times. One of the things, Bob, that we were talking about before we went live is that I see on your Facebook page almost every day someone is posting something and saying, hey, I need to have this document translated, or I don't know what this word means, or can anybody read this handwriting? And I always wanted to say, well, AI can help you with that. So after thinking it to myself for enough times, I said, well, let's put together a presentation, and I can show you pretty quickly how AI can help you with translation issues. So I'm assuming 2 things. I'm assuming that you know how to get a digital copy of a photograph of a document, and I'm assuming you know how to upload it to the internet. And I'm assuming those things because I see people post these documents on Facebook. And if you can post a document on Facebook, you can post a document to AI. It's the same thing. You'll have a little bit of an edge up if you know how to use Snagit or the snipping tool that comes with Microsoft Office. It's helpful, but it's not totally needed. You could work around it and work without it. So let's start with, what is AI? At its core, AI is a computer program. That's all it is, just like any other computer program. We're using YouTube to broadcast this video. YouTube is a computer program, and the purpose of it is to record and broadcast videos. Um, if you were doing something in Google Sheets is a spreadsheet program, and it's programmed to handle numbers and tables and rows and columns, and things like that. AI is a special kind of computer program in that it's not programmed to do something specific. It's programmed to learn. And what they do, instead of giving it a specific task and saying, all right, if I push this button, my text is going to be bold or italic or whatever, it gives the programmers give it mass amounts of data, everything from the Bible to newspapers to calculus textbooks to phone books. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of data. And then they sit back and they say, okay, with everything that you have learned, let's see if you can do these tasks. So the task we're going to have AI do is translate, but with the same program, I can ask it to draw me a picture. I can ask it to, I think one of the commercials that's on lately is, can you make me a workout program? Or can you give me an itinerary if I want to travel to Naples? What should I see if I have 2 days, 5 days, 10 days? And the more information that goes into it, the more it learns, the more it can do.
That's pretty scary.
It is. It very much is. And the thing is, it's learning every day. It's learning from the information that we feed into it. It's learning from just being in the world and just like seeing how the news that goes on. It's in the next year or two, it's going to do some pretty incredible things. The jury is still out whether they're good incredible or bad incredible. So, the top 3 AI programs that you'll probably hear the most about are ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. And they usually race for top of the stack. Right now, Claude is they just put out a new version about 2 weeks ago, and it's supposed to have the fastest processing time and the most accurate data. But the word is that ChatGPT is going to have a new version coming in another couple of weeks that will surpass what Claude is doing. And then Gemini will come out on top of that. So it's those 3 are just competing with each other to see who can do the next coolest thing. So I stick with ChatGPT, and the reason I do that is because they give the most value for a free version. Claude, its free version limits you to a certain number of uses per day. So if you have 10 documents you want to translate, it may only let you do 5, and then you have to wait till the next day to do the next 5. Gemini is it's something similar. You're limited in some of what you can do. I like ChatGPT because it didn't give you at this point in time. It's not the latest and greatest, but it's the differences are minuscule, and it has no limits. You can use it all day if you want to, and I've done it. I've sat there and used it for different things for hours. Well, that's my last slide. Let me actually open up ChatGPT. Here it is, and we could see what we're working with. So this is ChatGPT. It literally, you just go into your address bar up top, and just like you would type in facebook.com, you type in chatgpt.com. And the screen is really simple. I mean, this is all there is to it. You've got a couple of prompts in the middle. It just gives you suggestions of something you may want to ask it. But the real magic is down here in the text box, because what we're going to do is we're going to ask ChatGPT to do things for us, and it's going to it's going to respond to whatever we put in this chat box. So one thing I want to point out, and we were talking about it before, and it's highlighted here, it can make mistakes. It's new. AI in this current format has been around for about a year and a half. So it's still learning. Take some of it with a grain of salt. You have to double check it, but it's a great starting point. It's a great tool. So let's see what we've got. Bob, you sent me a page of a book. Was that your book?
No, the one in Italian.
The one in Italian.
No, that was a book that was given to us in Italy, and it's based on my grandmother's family, her Caracciolo family.
Okay. Okay, got it. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to actually open up the file that you gave me. All right. So this is the file that I got from Bob. And it really is just a photograph of, I'm assuming you took this with your phone or something, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A page of a book. So let me minimize that. So what we're going to do is down here by the text box, you can see that there's this little paper clip, just like for Facebook or just like for any of the, like if you had an email, you want to attach the photo that we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to click on the button, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to attach the file that I just showed you. And then we need to tell ChatGPT what to do. So the great thing about AI is you can talk to it like you're talking to another person. You don't need to know any computer code. You don't need to know any special commands. I like to say please, but that's just me. So I would say, please transcribe and translate the attached document. I hit enter. You need to give it a minute. It has to think about it a bit. Now here we see, first we're going to get the transcription that comes out in this black box. And then underneath it, we're going to get the translation, because that was the order I asked it. I asked it to transcribe and then translate. I've had known people to put entire books into an attachment and then just walk away for an hour or so while it did its work. So let's see. So first we have the transcription, and I always ask it to transcribe before it translates. And the reason for that is because we do want to do some checks. And one of the checks we want to do is to make sure that it got the whole page. So if I pull up where is my, here it is. If I pull up my original photo, I'm going to try and get them side by side, but you can see that the first line, if you could see it, the first words of the first line are pension vitalitia 100 ducati a month. And then you can see here in the transcription, you've got the same words. So you know that it caught it from the beginning of the page, right? Then if I scroll down to the end, the last words are Dianino di, per my Italian is atrocious.
Mine
Um,
too.
so you can see the last words there, and then again we want to check the book, and it's the same last words of the book. So we can be pretty confident that it got everything in between. If you want, you can look at the paragraph headings. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. The book has 4 paragraphs. So we can be pretty confident that we got all of the text on the page. Now, 2 things it didn't do. And I've actually been playing with this this afternoon to try to get it to pick up the footnotes, because it didn't pick up the footnotes. It just gave us the main text of the book itself. It could be partial. Some of these footnotes are cut off. I got it at one point. If I say to it to include the footnotes, it will give me what's on the bottom, but it won't give me the numbers within the page itself. So again, those are some things that it's still working on. I also didn't get this 24. I don't know if this is page 24 or the 24th chapter, but it didn't pick up that either. It just gave me the basic text. So let me scroll down. And here we have it in English. We have a life's pension of 100 ducats a month, which is what we saw up on top in the Italian version. We've got 4 paragraphs. They're talking about Avellino, which they did in the original transcription. We talk about this person's baptismal godmother, and again we end with the of mind and extraordinary, which, if I scroll back up, is the end over here. So
That's pretty cool.
it is cool, right?
That's really neat.
I was really excited about it.
Yeah.
So this is typewritten text. It's pretty easy for AI to look at and to understand what's going on. 2 things. I always transcribe before I translate. Transcription and translation are 2 different actions by the AI. So if you transcribe, it's much better when we get into handwriting. It's much better at transcribing than it is translation. So
Oh, what happened? I think we lost Natalie for a second. Here she's coming back.
sorry, did I lose you?
Yeah, we lost you for a second there. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm so sorry. All right, let me present my screen again. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So you want to transcribe first so you can skim and get a feel for whether or not it picked up the words correctly. And it's pretty good at translation. I mean, we've had Google Translate for years. So once it's got the words on the page, the translation part is pretty easy. So something else I always do is I make a copy of this. So I usually use Word. You could use Google Docs, you could use Notepad, you could use whatever you want. But if you go up to the corner of the black screen here, now this is a transcription. You'll see something that says copy code. And if you click that, it makes a copy of everything in this box, so the whole transcription. And then you can, like I said, what I usually do is I open up a Word document. And then I'll just paste it in. And then I'll do the same thing with the translation. Again, copy code is right here. and I'll save it. So I don't have to worry about going back to it later. I'll have everything right there.
So now I took a picture, but you could also you could scan the documents in also. Yeah.
You can scan them in. Yes, you can. As long as you can get the picture in, that's all that matters.
That's all that
Any way
matters.
that you can get a picture on Facebook, you could do this. I'll tell you, I've experimented with different file formats. So we have PDF files, which is usually when you scan something, it comes in as a PDF. JPEGs, PNGs, PNG. And I haven't noticed too much of a difference. It may capture more of the formatting in a PDF. So if you have something with like a table or something like that, you may want to try PDF. But if all you've got is your phone and you're just taking a picture of something, that's okay. You know, the object is to get it into the system. So, all right. So that's a book. Nice and easy, all text. Now let's try your certificate. You sent me a certificate where you got an award. I don't remember what it was for.
It was just for basically visiting one of the hometowns in Italy, and they like to make you feel good, so they give you a document, saying how wonderful you are.
I was interested in how AI would capture this for two reasons. One, because it's got all the flowery writing, all the flowers around the outside. Yeah. And two, because you can tell it's behind glass when you took the picture. It's got a bit of sheen to it. So I was like, all right, well, let's see what's going to happen with this. And that's the great thing about AI. What I tell everybody is, if you put something in and it's not quite right, you're not going to blow the world up. You're not going to ruin your computer. Just try, make a change and try it again. So I'm going to click the paperclip again, and I'm going to upload this document. And once again, I'm going to say, please transcribe and translate this file. And let's see what we get. And there it is. So you have the original, and again, it didn't take the stamp. I believe that the original file, nope, that's the book. Where is it? Well, the original one had a bit of a logo here, right? And it didn't say anything about that, which is fine. It doesn't. If you give it an image and you say, if you give it an image of, let's say, a shepherd with some sheep, and you ask it, what's in this image, it'll tell you. And if you give it an image like this of text and ask it to work with the text, it'll tell you. But if you give it both at the same time, it'll either give you one or the other. So here we have the original transcription. It's got on this date, Bob, you went over, and they're giving you this great award. And then here down the bottom, it'll give you the translation of the same thing. So it's the Fossatesi del Mondo, something of the world.
Yeah, that's the name of the town, Fossato. So so they're just saying, that's the association for that people from that town around the world.
Oh, okay, got it. So yeah, and again, I mean, normally what I would do is I would make a copy of it, so you'll have a backup. One of the things that's interesting about AI is because it's always learning and always changing. If you come back a week from now and put the same document in, it may give you a slightly different translation because it may have learned a little and learned a little bit more nuance. And this happens much more with handwritten documents than it does with pre-printed documents. And it'll get better and better as it goes on. So that's that. So the third one you gave me was a postcard. Or at least I believe it was a postcard. I shouldn't say that.
Back in this was from I want to say 1920, actually before my father was born. And I didn't have this card. I got this from my dad's first cousin when we went to Italy. I had seen the photo that was on this card before, but I had never seen the back of the card because my grandmother obviously sent it to Italy.
Yes. This one was a little tougher because because it's faded and pixelated, so the writing isn't as clear, and partially because you could see where it was. I'm assuming this black, it was attached to one of those old photo albums.
Yeah.
So this piece kind of was a little crazy, and this is interesting because I put this postcard in AI to have it translated when I first got it from you, which was a couple of weeks ago, and it gave me an answer. And then I put it in again today, and it gave me a slightly different answer. So let's see right now what we're going to get. I've attached the document again down the bottom here, and I'm going to say, please transcribe and translate the attached document. So I'm assuming, was she sending it? Did you see your grandmother was sending it to her father?
She sent it to her father.
She sent it to her father.
And I mean, that's pretty close. The translation I got was what now? I don't know if that's right because I don't know if the person translated right, but it basically said from your dear daughter to her father, so you never forget. So it's it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It gives you the general idea of what's going on. I can tell you, let me look at my old translations, and I can tell you if
it could also be, I mean, obviously it's trying to pick up handwriting, so
yes, that's part of it too. This is me doing the other one. Let me see if I don't have it here. All right. But yes, and it's trying to pick up the handwriting, so that's always a bit of a challenge.
But it is pretty close. It
is pretty close.
The idea was there. The sentiment is there. So.
The idea is there, and I think from a genealogy standpoint, the fact that we got the relationship right was there. It was from father to daughter. What was the picture? What was the picture? It was a picture of your grandmother?
The picture was my grandmother. She came to America in 1915, and I'm guessing this was around 1919, 1920, 21, because I know my father hadn't been born yet. And I had, like I said, I had seen the picture,
right?
But I didn't know that she sent it to her father in Italy until we got there and my cousin showed up.
Right. So, right. And you saw that it had a back.
Yeah.
That is my one piece of advice for genealogists. Anytime anybody asks, is turn the page. See what's on the back of whatever it is, whether it be a document or a photo or a book or whatever. Just turn it over and see what's on the back, because you never know. All right, so it did pretty good with that one. The last one is the birth certificate, and this one was tricky. So let me pull up the original birth certificate that you sent. And I think
it was tricky. It was tricky because whoever wrote this, well, they write a little bit better than me, but it is, and it's in several parts, right? So.
And it's in several parts, and that's part of the issue with AI. Is not even so much that the handwriting is small. It's that it's in several parts. So I'm going to first run this through as is, without any manipulation at all, and let's see what we get. Birth. There we go. Yeah, when I first saw AI translate, I immediately thought of these old Italian birth certificates that have no, there's no typed words at all. It's just some priest from 100 years ago with a pencil, just writing this stuff down. So,
It never would have crossed my mind, to be honest with you. I never would have thought of it.
I've paged through more pages on Family Search of different birth certificates and stuff. It's the first thing I thought of. So this is interesting. If we look up at the top and we start just seeing what it did, we start with presentation of this person. So here's our first line. And if I go back to the original page, you see that what it's translating is this line over here on the right side of the page. It's ignoring what's on the left. It'll start there, and then let's see, how far down does it go? Testimony. All right, so it goes down to the official, civil, and then the signatures. So it goes down. I'm trying to see where it ends. Oh, it goes all the way down to the bottom.
Wow,
that's that. I don't know if you can. Here, let me try to blow it up a little.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
So you can see it goes all the way down to this line. So it took everything that's on the right-hand side of the page.
Oh, that's something. That's really.
Now, I will say we've got a couple of question marks here. So it wasn't really sure of the profession. It had a problem with one of the last names. But the basic information is here. It's a marriage certificate of Nicola Piramalo.
Piramalo, yeah.
Right? Who married Rose Capella in Naples in 1913. And I'm guessing this is part of his, I know when you get married, you have to show that you were baptized in the church in order to get married in the church. So, like I said, the interesting thing here is that it took the right side of the page. It didn't take the left side of the page. So one of the things that we could do, and this is where I go back to saying, if you know how to use Snagit, or you know how to use one of those screen clippers, we can try to force it to use the left side of the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snipping tool. It's actually coming out over here, so let me move it so everybody can see it. And I'm going to make a new snip, and I'm going to just snip this side, let's say down to, I don't know if you can tell, but this word right here looks like tribunale. So we'll know what the first word is because it's the year, the date, and we know the last word will be tribunale. And I'll just save it as a file.
And I think while you're doing that, I think it's important for people to know that I went out of my way to pick something that was really, really going to be difficult to read.
But it's a great test because people don't have problems with the easy stuff. I mean, they can just, like, if there is some text that's in a book, they can type it into Google Translate and they're done. It's when you get into this handwriting and this, like I said, a priest with a pencil 100 years ago, that you wind up having problems. So let's see what it does. Birth demo time. So,
wow, that's pretty good.
That's
pretty damn good.
It's it's the beginning. We have our dates. We have our names. We have. It looks like this is the son. So this is the father.
Saverio is the
right?
father.
Yeah. Right, and he was a resident of Terzala. So what you could do in cases like this, when it doesn't take the whole thing, is you can just divide it up into chunks. So now what we could do is we can take the next chunk. So if I go back to the document, so we went up to, where was it?
It was the tribunale there, right?
There, right there. Yeah. So, so I can do it again and take another chunk. This looks like domiciled. That looks like the last word is lived, right? So let's try it again. So I'll do birth demo middle. Here it is. And there have been times when I've gone down as far as just making a screenshot of a single word, because I wanted to blow it up as big as I could. Or you can play with your images in Paint if you're handy with that at all, to kind of make the contrast a little better. And then try to run it through here and see if that helps. It's all about giving it the best possible image. Okay, so now we have, now they're talking about the witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So we have the witnesses for the towards the birth, and their names. And you know what I like here is that it did pick up that Don Nicola is deceased, because sometimes they miss the if you have somebody's name and then you have the foo after it, sometimes they'll miss it in the translation, but they've got it right here. So yeah, and then little by little you can just get through that entire thing. This also is good if you, we were talking before about if you have a document that for some reason you have text going in two different directions. Like either some postcards have the address written horizontally, but then they've got the text written vertically. Like somebody turned the postcard to the side and was writing on it. So you can divide it up into pieces and feed it through one piece at a time. So, so yeah, so that's what I have with AI. But I was very excited about it when I first saw it, and like I said, when I see people on Facebook, I'm asking about words and how to translate stuff. I'm like, oh, you guys have got to see ChatGPT.
Let me tell you, I've given this to people to read, and they didn't come back with as good a translation. So
now you know what to do.
And I mean, and I one of the interesting things was I didn't know. You see, Maria Luigia Savino. My grandmother was Maria Luigia, so she was named. If I didn't know that, and I didn't know her father was Don Nicholas, so that's some interesting stuff there that I didn't know.
And it honestly is no harder than attaching something, like attaching a photo to Facebook. It's no harder than that.
You should do a master class on it. This was, I never would, honestly, I never would have thought that it could do it. And I kind of figured, once you said, a book or something like that, and that's why I sent you. But I'm really impressed with what it picked up on that document from 1853. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And so if you have newer, if you have records from where they started using the forms, like in the 1880s and things like that, I'm sure, and especially if some of them have really, really good handwriting.
Right.
So we had a question from Jeff. So.
Yes, I see. I actually can see it on my screen. Say you have a photo of a band of about 20 guys. 2 appear to be leaders. One of them is your ancestor. You know that he's about 47. Can you pick out the likely candidates? I'm not sure how well it would do, because the appears to be leaders is very subjective. What you would need to do is to put in a lot of information on what you thought were the leadership qualities. Are the leaders the ones standing up? Are they the ones specifically sitting down? Is everybody saluting but them? So that you would give it the most information possible to see who was or was not a leader. I actually had a similar photo issue, because I have a photo. Let me see if I can find this photo. If I can find it very quickly, I'll bring it up.
So Jeff was saying, or snip, maybe only snip the 2 people.
Yes. Well, if you just snip the 2, and then maybe what might help is if you have your ancestor and he's one of these 2 people, and you have a picture of their that person's child or grandchild, or somebody who looks similar, who has some similar facial features, you could put those in and say, here's the son. I know this is the son of the man I'm trying to identify. Which of these 2 men may most likely be the father to this person? That might be one way you can try it. There are specific websites out there that will help you identify photos. I know Maureen Davidson. She's very good on photos and things like that. If you have his son at 60 and you have him at around 47, I would try it. If you're putting in 2 people, you've got a 50-50 shot. So if you put them in and see if it can tell you which of the 2 seem to resemble each other enough. Facial recognition is a completely different ballgame. I can do a whole other talk on how it recognizes faces and it maps the points on your face and the shadows and the Maureen Taylor. Yes.
Yeah. Right. And I was in contact with her, so I'm gonna get her on at some point.
Yes. She's I've heard her as a speaker. She's an awesome presenter, and she's identified some photos for me. She does a lot of great work. Um, so I have to plug Steve Little, who's here, who actually taught me just about everything I know about AI. Because I was in his grip class for a week and came out with all this new knowledge and wanted to, go get out there and tell the world. It's great to have him here. So, um, yeah, but getting back to the photo, I actually have I have no idea what my great grandfather looks like on the Irish side of my family, and all I have is I knew that he worked for the town of West New York in New Jersey in the 1800s, and the historian of the town sent me a picture of all of the street cleaners and said, "I believe your great grandfather is one of these men," and there's like 30 men in the photo. Um, and based on when they took the photo and based on the payroll sheets that he sent, we had a good feeling he was in there. But he's one of 30 people, and I had my guesses as to 4 or 5. But one of the things I knew about him from his draft card was that he was missing several fingers. So, and all of these men are standing there holding their brooms. So I asked AI to try to pinpoint for me who in that photo was missing fingers. And I still don't have 100%, but it came back with some answers that were close to what I thought my grandfather was, my great grandfather. So it was very interesting. It's amazing what AI can do and what it's going to be able to do in the future.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. So before we go, just just let everybody know about your website and what you're going to be doing with that.
Yes. My website is familytreetech.com. And I really want to make technology accessible for genealogists. I've been in the tech field for 25 years. I've been a trainer, I've been a manager. I've done all kinds of programming. And when I came to genealogy, I saw there was a wide range of knowledge about technology. And I feel like there are so many tools out there that can help us to do the genealogy we want to do, whether you're into DNA or you just want to, you're doing like this, like records in a foreign language. There are some people who want to learn simple things like how to use Excel or how to use Google Sheets. And I want to come to people at many levels to show them what technology can do to help you with your genealogy and to make your research both easier and broader, and better. So I'm focusing on giving talks like this. We have videos and instructional blog posts, and just to show people the ways that technology can help you do your genealogy.
And so why don't you put up your logo and your website information so we have it at the end of the
Oh
broadcast.
yes, let me do that. I made that logo in AI. ChatGPT made the logo for me.
Oh, I'm gonna have to make a new one for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here it is. I really just wanted something with a tree and but a little bit of technology, so it's a plugged in tree. Yeah, and then the rest of it was just in PowerPoint. But AI can do some amazing things.
Well,
So
I mean, everything was cool, but I'm totally impressed with that last record. And I think people who are struggling with it, again, it may not be 100%. You could do it now, come back a month later or 2 months later and try it again and see if it reads it a little bit better. But people can't read that, so I'm impressed.
Yes. I have a whole host of records of my own that I want to put through, but yes, definitely.
Well, you know, Thanks again, Natalie. This has really, really been fantastic. And, I will put it out there so people who couldn't be live can watch the replay. But this is invaluable for anybody who's doing this kind of research, I think.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and definitely love the Facebook community that you have. And yeah, I definitely think this will help people.
Great. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.